write down everything that makes you angry. And you're going to think, well, some of those things that make me angry are stupid. It's like, yeah, probably. That's not the question here. We're not trying to figure out if you're reasonable or not. Of course you're not, because who is? So you're not. So write down everything that makes you angry. Okay, so what'll happen then is you have a comprehensive list of what makes you angry, and the first thing that you'll figure out is that some of those things just shouldn't make you angry. It's like time to grow the hell up, and get over that. But then there's other things on there, and maybe you can talk to someone about that. You think, well, this makes me angry, should it? You talk to someone, they say, no, that's you. You should just grow up. But, so maybe that's 10% of the things that make you angry is just because you're undisciplined. But then there'll be some other things that make you angry because you're being taken advantage of, or you're allowing yourself to be taken advantage of, or you're taking advantage of yourself, or you're not objecting when someone else is asking you to do something you don't really want. Like there's something going on. And so with those things, you figure out, well, what would you rather have? Like if you could have what you wanted that wasn't making you angry, what would it be? And so now you know what you want. Well, then you think, well, let's take one of those things that I want and see if I can ask for it. Maybe she has to go to her husband and say, look, I need you to spend 15 minutes after dinner with the kids so I can, be alone. Would you do it for 15 minutes or 10 minutes? Or would you do it for 10 minutes like 3 times a week? You have to negotiate. What's the other person willing to do? You need to know what you want and need, and then you need to communicate it to them, and then you need to negotiate a solution. And that's how you get more assertive. And you start small. You get more assertive by telling the truth, right? That's how. It's like, I'm irritated and annoyed that this isn't happening, and here's something that you could conceivably offer me, and this is what I'm willing to do in return, and could we see if that works? And what's the benefit to them is, well, you're not miserable and passive-aggressive then, It's like, it's not like your partner isn't going to gain from your increment in assertiveness. It's not a zero-sum game. You could both gain, like truly, because wouldn't it be a lovely marriage if your wife could ask you what she wanted and you could deliver, and you could ask her what you wanted and she'd deliver, and both of you were happy about that? Like that could happen. Not always and in every situation, but you can get a long way down that road if you're careful, So tell the truth about what you're angry about, but also tell the truth to yourself about what you want. And then start with little negotiations in that direction, and you'll get better and better at it. It's really worth doing, because otherwise you carry around all that resentment. And that's horrible. That's no way to live. It makes you sick, and makes everyone around you sick, and it makes you old, and makes life miserable. And so that's another thing to think through, because you think, well, I'm afraid to say what I want. It's like, fair enough. Who isn't? How afraid are you of not saying what you want? Well, I'm used to that. Well, that doesn't mean it isn't horrible. You're just not accounting that as a risk, and you should. There is the risk of saying what you need, but there's the risk of not saying what you need. And if you have to pick between those two risks, man, pick saying. So then at least you have a chance, and so does your partner.